talk to you about some fabulous products that the guys at Euroleathers and Pedag very kindly sent to me to try. So the first thing that I got to try were 2 sets of insoles. So here we have the Pedag Energy and the Pedag Power. So I'd like to talk about the Pedag Power first, because of course I'm a power athlete, so they suit me very well. So you can see with the design that it kind of molds to your feet. It's a curved design for an insole, which is pretty beautiful because it kind of just fits into your trainer and molds around your foot. So even though all you have to do is choose the size that you want, they feel like they were tailor-made for me. And you can see as well on the bottom of the insole that they've kind of been mapped to suit the kind of ergonomic design of your feet. They're light enough that I could sprint in them, and they were small enough that I could fit them into my running spikes, which are a lot more low profile as well. What I noticed with the Power is that they're a lot firmer and a lot more responsive. So when you put power down, then you get power out of them as well. Whereas with the Energy, Pedag Energy, I found that technologically there's just one more layer, that you've got a shock absorber. So when you kind of put the power down, I felt when I was wearing them that the insoles absorbed the power and then kind of gave you a bit more of a spring. So if you're doing a more endurance-based event, I've had speed endurance sessions this week, I found that you get more of a kind of continual response with the Energy. Just as comfortable to wear, maybe a little bit more spongy when you put them into your shoe than the Power, but obviously it depends what you want to use them for. I would say that I would wear them, especially the Energy. I think you could get away with wearing them in everyday wear. That doesn't necessarily have to be high performance sport. And I'm going to be really interested to see how the Power insoles behave when I put them into my weightlifting shoes as well. That if I'm doing Olympic lifting like cleans or squats, something like that, then it's going to be really interesting to see if I can get a better rebound from that. Now, whilst we're on the subject of shoes, something else that I got to try was the Pedag Shoe Deo. So I've never used anything like this before, but it was basically a deodorant for your shoes, which when you train as much as me is a fantastic idea, because we train across all different kinds of terrain, whether it's sand, grass, track, and in all kinds of different weathers as well. The socks that I wear tend to kind of absorb the moisture and put it into the atmosphere, and when the atmosphere is your shoe, well, they probably don't smell that wonderful after a year of using them. So I really like the smell. I don't think it's overpowering in the slightest, and it's not a synthetic smell. It's just very light, very airy, and at a scientific level, the particles, as well as smelling nice, kind of remove and mask the odour that goes with, you know, kind of smelly shoes. So yeah, I think it's really nice. You can use it on your training bag as well, or to freshen up some clothes. So I think it's a great idea and a really handy kind of size as well. This retails at £5.95. I should also mention that the insoles that I mentioned retail at £34.95, all of which are available online. So I also got to try, speaking of shoes and clothing, the Carbon Pro. A very innovative product that I've never even seen before. It's kind of like a very light spray, or so it comes out, that you can put onto fabric, whether that's fabric on your shoes or fabric on your top. And then, let me kind of show you. You can barely see it. However, when it kind of connects with the fabric, it creates this film that's really clever, and kind of adds a water resistant layer then. So fantastic as we're coming up to the outdoor season, that I'm going to be using this on my outdoor spikes, my running trainers, and also my leggings and outdoor clothing as well. And I was thinking I can also update my older waterproof jackets that have kind of tended to lose a little bit of their water resistance, to give them that extra layer of protection, which I think is a really clever idea. And this retails at £12.95. Now finally, you might recognise a product like this, you might not. It's called Still Protect, and it's particularly interesting because the way that it works is that it's a really kind of light liquid that you can kind of see on my hand there. It's not very thick at all, but it kind of needs to stay on your skin, because the aim of it is to create a bit of a barrier so that clothes that are rubbing or chafing, causing wounds during sport aren't going to do you damage, basically. So I tried it on what I find is kind of a problem area, is where my sports bra and my running top meet. Because they're both quite compressed, they could tend to rub underneath my arms, especially as I'm doing such high impact kind of whole body movements. So I found it really easy to wear. It didn't rub onto my clothes, I couldn't smell it. I don't think you could notice it unless you were very close to me, but what I noticed at the end of the session is that I hadn't spent time kind of wriggling around, readjusting my straps to make myself more comfortable. So yeah, so I really like it. I think it'd be particularly handy for people who are doing, say, longer runs and you tend to get chafing or kind of friction, or cycling or triathlon. They're really endurance sports where you know you're going to spend a lot of time at your event and you need to do it unhindered by being rubbed or chafed or wounded. So yeah, so that's the collection that I kind of got to try. If you're interested in the products, you can head to my website where there's a link to the Pedag and Euroleathers website, or you can check them out on their social media. You can have a look at my Instagram if you'd like to see close-up pictures of the products, and I look forward to using them in the future.